Thank you for coming out to tonight's candidate forum. I think it's a very necessary thing. We need to know where our candidates stand and want the best counsel possibly for the city and the school board. I think we should start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Would you all stand? I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Made it. She's not sick, I'll cripple her. We have a lot of ground to cover tonight, so I'll briefly go over you all have a copy of the general rules for the forum, but I'll go over the agenda real quickly on the high points. We'll first welcome the candidates, and then I'll go over the general ground rules, and then we'll have candidates' remarks, and then a question to the candidates. I have to try to be fair here. I'm dealing with the school board and the city council candidates, so forgive me if I make a mistake there. And the question and responses to candidates will continue. 8:15, we hope to be, if we needed, non-controversial questions from the audience at 1 minute each, and the answer 1 minute each. And then we'll have the candidates' closing remarks and our closing remarks. Like I said, everyone, including the candidates, do you have any questions on the general rules? Okay, good. Amy McVeigh will be our timekeeper, and this is put on by the Republican Party of Stafford County. Amy's our chairman, and it's sponsored by the Community Improvement Program. And again, we're glad to have you. So I guess we'll start out. Thank you all. Let's, one at a time, does anyone want to go first? You want me to pick?
What are we going for now?
Introduce yourself.
Oh, I'm Jackie Couch.
And you're running for?
I'm running for city council.
And you are in St. John.
Hi, I'm Julianne Owens. I'm running for city council. We've lived in St. John about 2 years. My husband and I moved back here looking for a better place to raise our daughter, and I'm looking forward to the opportunity to serve my community.
Okay, speak as loudly as you can. You might as well have to go over here.
I'm Carolyn Dunn. I live here in town. My husband, I've lived here for 8 years. My husband's a native that I import. We have 3 sons. The oldest will be in kindergarten next year, so I have a strong personal interest in seeing that the school district is successful and does a good job of preparing our kids for the next stage in life after their education here.
I'm Barb Alpers. I'm from Hudson. My husband and I are going to be married 30 years, April 7th, so that's when I joined the community. We had 3 children that attended school here, and we have watched the progression of St. John and the Hudson area and the combination of the 2 towns and the successes and maybe some of the problems that we've had in combination of the school systems. And I'm just here to bring a positive attitude and maybe some creative ideas and changes and focus our students to go forward and do the best that they can do.
Thank you. Amy, would you like to go next?
Sure. I'm Amy Collins. My husband Sean is there in the back. We've been here for 5 years. When we moved here, we had the chance to live, or we, I guess, had the opportunity to select which community we wanted to live in. And we selected St. John because we had been here before, just to visit. So I guess my biggest concern is that, you know, we like the town because of what we saw, but I think there's so much more opportunity for St. John to grow. And so I would like to be in that process.
Merlin's Fair. This will be my third term coming up if I'm elected. I'm in my 29th year of teaching, so education is one of the things at the forefront of me. I teach in another district. I serve on various committees across the state in career technical education, so I think I bring a lot to the table as far as experience and so forth. And then, more importantly, I've had 4 children who've been successful by going through the school system here, and also a product of the school system as well. And so I have a lot of vested interest in this school system.
My name is Brian Davis. I'm born and raised here in St. John. Lived here all my life except for the few years when I was in college there at Fort Hays. I feel like we just need to keep good, common sense people on the council, and we've done a pretty good job of that. And I think we just need to kind of stay in that direction with some homegrown type people and keep things rolling.
Okay, thank you, candidates. Now we'll move on to our candidates' remarks, 1 minute each. If you have any additional thing to say. Okay, we gave you a fair chance. Now we'll move into our questions. Okay, do you have any, why don't you suggest which way we go here to start, and then from there I'll take it.
I think you should do it alphabetically by last name.
My last name?
Maybe we should rethink that.
Okay, let's go. Why are you running for city council?
Okay. Well, from what I just said earlier, I think we were so enamored by St. John when we came to visit the first time. I thought, man, I'd love to live in a town like this. And since we've been here, I feel like there's a lot of people that are interested in making our community a better place to be, but they're not working together. We have a lot of people interested in economic development, but they're all in different little groups. I work for the Extension Office. I'm a county agent. We have an economic development board through Extension. And then CIP works on economic development. And then I've read in the paper that, you know, somebody wants to hire, some people feel like it would be a good idea to hire an economic development person. So I just feel like we're kind of scattered, and maybe we need to have some interlocal cooperation between groups.
Why did I run for city council?
Yes.
That's a good question. I don't know. I'm not a politician. I'm just a local person that's lived here all my life. I don't want to see St. John go down the tubes. I think we got a lot of things going here. I'd like to keep things going good. We're never going to be a thriving metropolis. I mean, pretty much face that. It's not going to happen. If I wanted to live in a big city, I'd go live there. But I do think we need to keep things headed in the right direction and don't let what we do have slip away.
Branding, wait before our time. Is that all, Brian?
Yep.
Okay, thank you.
I think for me, running for city council is more about giving back. I really feel like I've been received well in my business. I enjoy growing up here, and I see serving on this kind of board as a way for me to give back to the community. I want to make decisions based on the good of the entire community, and I feel like I have some qualities that might contribute to doing that. I'll be the first to tell you that I don't have experience thus far, and I guess kind of like Brian said, I'm not a politician, and I don't have experience thus far, but I'm excited to gain experience and knowledge, and I feel like I can make informed decisions. So that's all I've got for you.
Yeah.
I have about 9 years in municipal government background, and I miss working in city government. I really enjoyed what I did out in California. I got a lot of really good knowledge, and I feel like this is a really good opportunity for me to take that knowledge and apply it to the other side of the table. I spent a fair amount of time doing presentations for councils and cost analysis studies and different things, and I think that my background and my experience will allow me to look at financial matters for the city and develop a quick understanding of what we're facing. I agree with Mr. Davis in that this is never going to be a thriving metropolis, but I also think that there are things that we can do to make it a thriving small rural community that we all love. Like Carolyn had said, I have a preschool child who's about to enter the school system. We moved back here for this environment for her to grow up in, and that's what gives me a real strong interest and desire to make sure that this community and our school system continues to grow and thrive.
Thank you. Okay, let's move over to the school board. And unfortunately, your last name starts with A, Barb, so why are you running for USD 350 school board?
Why am I running for USD 350? I think that I can add, always add new blood, be creative. I do have I'm very interested in youth and youth products. I've worked in the school system for 18 years in different capacities. I've worked with the 4-H program in youth capacities. I've even worked with the global 4-H program with the International Exchange. So I'm always interested in youth. We started a Kids for Christ program in our school, or in our church. And even this summer, I'm trying to find ways of helping some of the children that we have around Hudson to keep them busy in case they can't come down here and be a part of this program down here. At least it gives them something local and just helps them make it through the summer with activities. So I'm constantly thinking and looking for ways of including youth in whatever I can. And I feel that working in a school system or working with the board of the education, that I can take some of those creative ideas and implement them within the system, and hopefully we can see if we can get something flying and be a progressive school instead of waiting for things to happen. Let's make it happen.
Thank you. Carmen?
Well, I think I echo what Barb said about creative thinking. I think that that's what we're going to have to do in the current budget environment in order to, continue to be a progressive school system, one that can continue to offer the kinds of programs that, like I said before, do a good job of preparing our kids for that next step. We're going to be creative to not just mindlessly cut things as opposed to think of creative ways to maintain what we've got in a declining budget environment. I I've been involved with some regional leadership activities, wanted to apply some of that here. And from some of the work that I've done around the state, have some good ideas, I think, on things that might work well here. And so I'd like to apply some of that knowledge to our community.
Thank you, Merlin.
I enjoy being a part of the community and giving back what the community has given me. And I enjoy also being a team player because there's 7 people on board and we all come from different backgrounds and have different ideas to share with one another. And I feel like I'm a good team player and have a lot to offer because of my background and in being in education for several years. I think that there's a lot of challenges that the schools are going to face in the next 5 years, just as you've seen and read in the papers. The legislature is faced with a lot of issues, and I'm really happy that they haven't taken a big, huge cut in education because it's the younger kids that are our future of our and generations that are going to suffer if they start making huge cuts in those areas. We know that elementary kids need quality education, and we need to continue to put a lot of effort in attracting good quality teachers in those areas and put a lot more emphasis in what we're doing. I think that we have some good things going, and we just need to keep challenging and being creative with what we're facing against in the coming years.
Thank you, Merlin. I think before we start round 2, I forgot to make an announcement. There's another candidate running for city council, Bill Lennox, recently in the hospital and just got out. He wanted to come down here tonight real bad, but I think the chief and I convinced him that it wouldn't be very good for his health. So he regrets not being here and he sends his regards. So keep him in mind. Okay, let's start back over here. If elected, Amy, what are your priorities for the city and how will we be able to measure your successes? What are your priorities for the city and how will we be able to measure your successes?
Well, gosh,
It's not very good.
it's not.
Not every time, anyway.
Right.
You need to
I
switch
should get a
it
list
up.
of other people's answers.
We will on next round, I promise.
That's okay. I don't know, I guess one of my priorities, like I said earlier, was we all need to be on the same page. We all need to have a bigger vision for St. John than where we're at now. We can't keep doing things the way it's always been done. And I hear that a lot. I hear people say they don't like change, but we've always done it that way. And we can't continue to do that. So I guess another priority would be to instill some kind of creative thinking, I guess, working together instead of everyone working on their own little agendas. And then, you know, something else I've thought about too is maybe we can't do it alone. Maybe we are going to have to work with other communities. You know, we live in a beautiful area, but maybe St. John can't do it by itself. Maybe we're going to have to join forces with Hudson because they have a restaurant, or Stafford because they have a bed and breakfast. And maybe we all work together to bring people to this area, generate business.
Before you run up, we still have a little time. Tell me briefly how you would measure your success.
I think that's hard, and it would take a while. I mean, it's just going to take time, and I think if you're going to measure success, you just need to do it in small increments. If you're at step 1 and you get to step B, I mean, if we can just keep moving forward instead of staying in the same pattern, I think that might be a way to look at it. But that's a hard question. I don't really have a good answer for you.
That was good. You know, your first comeback on the second part was good. You need me to ask the question again?
Yeah. Repeat the question for me. Refresh my mind.
Touch me again. Okay, if elected, what are your priorities for the city? And how, you want us to just do that and then we'll ask you to say,
Priorities for the city. That is a hard question, and I don't really have any agenda per se. I don't have any axes to grind. Some people, when they run for council, they want to, and I'm not saying anybody does, but you know, they may have a specific agenda to go out and go after some particular thing. But I don't have anything like that. I'm in it for the good of the community, and I just want to do my part and try to help the council with good decisions. And I guess that's all I got.
Yeah, then can you tell me briefly, how can we measure your successes? Your report card.
Yeah, I guess the way to measure success is just to see that if everything's running smooth, and I guess I don't really know.
Okay. Fine. We've made up these questions to make them tough. Jackie?
Will you ask me the question?
Sure. If elected, what are your priorities for the city? That's part one.
Part one. I think my first priority is to just serve the community well, do what I can to serve the community well, and
How could we measure your successes?
I don't know that you're going to measure my success individually. I think you are going to select, the members that you feel best fit to serve, and you're going to measure the success as a whole. You're going to end up looking at success of the council, not of each individual. So I don't know how you're going to measure mine, but I will do my best to serve well as a whole.
Okay. Amen. Sure. If elected, what are your priorities for the city?
My priorities are to try to slowly grow St. John. And I'm not entirely sure how to go about it. One of the things that comes to mind is trying to bring in some small industry, 2 to 4 people, businesses, to try and encourage workers for those businesses to relocate and bring their families to St. John, which will add to our school system. Another priority is to try and develop some interest in possibly rehabilitating some of the housing in town. I'm not sure how we would go about doing that specifically. I know we have a neighborhood revitalization program in place through the county, but I'd like to see us try and encourage people to come in and take 1 or 2 of the homes that are sitting empty right now and that are slowly deteriorating, and turn them into move-in ready homes for incoming workers that we might be able to bring in with some of the new businesses.
Okay, and if you can tell me, how would we be able to measure your successes?
Well, if I was successful, we would have a slight increase to our population. We would see possibly a new business or 2 in town, and we would see maybe some additional numbers in our school system.
Okay, thank you. The school board. You, Merlin. You
Going out of order.
We're going backward this time. I believe the current system for funding public schools in Kansas is fair and adequate.
I'll answer the second part. It's not adequate.
Okay?
Because there's never enough funding for education.
Good.
Whether it's fair or not, ask the Kansas legislature. They're the one that supply majority of the funding for us and have the yays or nays for that funding. However, there is a local option budget which the board can ask for and so forth. I think in our area, it is very fair. However, I just wish that we could generate more dollars. One is to attract quality teachers, you must pay them. I think that's just good standard business practice, and everybody would agree with that. To keep them, you must pay them well. And as far as whether we have enough funding for our school, obviously no, because we are having to cut programs or cut courses, or and possibly in the years to come we may have to cut more because of declining enrollment. If the city council attracts all the people they desire, our funding would go up because of the declining enrollment hurts our funding.
Okay, thank you. Carolyn, you need to read the question.
Well, you might say it again.
Do you
but-
believe the current system for funding public schools in Kansas is fair and adequate?
I really kind of feel like that's beside the point because we don't have control over what the state legislature does, other than to write a letter to our representative. So what our job here on the school board is to do is to make best use of the resources that we do have. And I think that there's room to be creative. Certainly, it's probably easier to do more when revenues are increasing. But I think there's opportunities to do things that are a bit creative too, and that may be sharing services. Certainly, there's a strong precedent for sharing services with other schools, but that may also be cooperating with the city. For example, there's been talk lately of perhaps looking at some renewable wind energy. Well, there are some programs available around the state that would allow the school to build that, and maybe there'd be a good opportunity to cooperate with the city on that and diversify our revenue source, provide some alternative education for our kids in the meantime. I'm not saying that I think that that's definitely the track we should go. I have not investigated specifically how that would work in our town best, but I think that that's an example of the kind of creative thinking that's going to be necessary in our future. Another example is I'm very taken with some of the things that the Atwood area has done, and one of the things that they've done is have been very proactive with entrepreneurship programs for their kids, and that has been a way that has been effective for them in increasing their population, because more and more kids have seen the opportunities that exist for them to be successful economically without moving to Kansas City or wherever else. And so I think that type of creative thinking is what's more important than pointing the finger at Topeka all the time.
Okay, I want to remind all the candidates to stay on the question. That question is, do you believe the current system for funding public schools in Kansas is fair and adequate?
And I have to answer after both of these. Oh my gosh. I agree with both of what they said.
2 points. Let me help you. 2 points, fair and adequate. You have to determine how fair and how adequate. Or it's not.
Well, I just, I don't think fair and adequate is probably a good terminology to even use with it, but like they said, we being in a rural community, do we really get the funds that some of the larger cities seem to accumulate? So I kind of have a problem with that. I don't know if that's the fair and adequate side, but I really haven't studied it that much to probably be able to give it a very intelligent answer. But I feel that we're just gonna have to, what they give us, we're gonna have to take and run with it, and then maybe find other ways of subsidizing our lacking funds, and just go from there and try to change it as best as we can with the letter writing and things like that, and let them know that we are a rural community and we depend on a lot of things out here that we don't always have control of, such as agriculture. Weather can wipe us out, and there you lose some of that revenue, and the population moving to larger cities. So we just have to go with what's given to us and make the most of it, I guess.
Okay, thank you. Back over to City Council. Julianne, what specific initiatives do you have planned to ensure that neighborhood concerns are not ignored by the City Council?
I don't have any specific initiatives. If I were elected, I would be open and available to listen to anyone's concerns and try to address them as they came up. I don't, at this point in time, I don't know of any specific neighborhood concerns. You know, I haven't been in the meeting long enough for people to chat with me about what their issues are and what their concerns are as far as in their individual neighborhoods. So I don't really have any initiatives at this point.
Thank you. You got two Ks, one your first name, one your last name. You're next. Jackie Kelly.
I have the question again.
Okay. What specific initiatives do you have planned to ensure that neighborhood concerns are not ignored by the City Council?
Thus far, I hadn't thought about anything specific, but I think being a part of City Council, I wouldn't enter that thinking that I won't deal with people's concerns, you know. I do agree with Julianne, as she said, I would be open as much as possible, but I would probably encourage people to just attend the meetings and use the proper channels. But I tell you what, I am a great listener. A degree in psychology and practice massage therapy. I hear a lot of things on my table, so you're all welcome to come in and get massages and vent.
You don't share those.
No, very professional.
Patient-client confidentiality.
Hey, very good.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Amy?
Okay, repeat the question.
No, wait, excuse me.
I don't know.
Right. I gotta learn my alphabet.
Specific initiatives for neighborhood concerns.
Wait, maybe you got that wrong. You want me to read it again, okay?
Yeah, you better.
Okay, because I think you're, what specific initiatives, in other words, what specific, do you have planned to ensure that neighborhood concerns are not ignored by the City Council?
I guess I don't have any one thing that I can put my finger on. I'm available. I'm in the community almost every day. You're not going to make everybody happy all the time. All you can do is present it to the council and bring it to their attention and let it be taken care of that way.
Sure.
What specific initiatives do you have planned to ensure that neighborhood concerns are not ignored by the City Council?
I think probably the first thing that popped in my mind was just good communication. I think if someone brings a concern to one of the City Council members or the City Council as a whole, we have to make sure that we get back. I mean, if they want an answer, we need to make sure they get an answer.
Thank you. Okay, we're back to you, Bart. With regard to declining enrollment, what, if anything, can we do as a Board of Education or as a community to curb declining student enrollment. I'll read again. With regard to declining enrollment, what, if anything, can we do as a Board of Education of the community to curb declining student enrollment?
Curb, C or B?
Yeah. Slow it down. Stop.
Stop. Well, you know, yes, we do have declining enrollment to a certain extent, but we also, just talking to somebody the other day, we were at 1A once before, and then after that we moved to 3A. So sometimes it's just part of the environment that brings that drop, and then you might get the fluctuation of enrollment. Another item is just trying to encourage people to, or try to attract people to your communities the best you can, and make our communities more attractive to people to move in. And there's a big fluctuation with the economy, and some of these families are moving back to their home roots because they feel safe at their home roots, and I think we're going to see some of that. So that it will improve our student enrollment, I hope. I mean, we just had a family move back here recently, I think. So I just think it's a combination, and we just got to be as proactive as we can, and to advertise and be positive about our community and show them that we're just a drive away from a lot of activities and a lot of entertainment and things like that, and encourage younger people, families, to move back and to raise a family, because they had a great education here at one time. Their children will have a great education here. So,
Thank you. Carmen?
Well, I think that kind of comes back to the idea of cooperating with our entities outside of the school board. What we can do on the school board is truly make this the strongest system that we can, and attractive to those types of people who come here by choice, so that they will choose this education system. But in light of the opportunities that exist for working with other entities, I think I probably shouldn't use the statistic because I may not be exactly accurate on this, but I think it was roughly 70% of kids that were surveyed as they were graduating from small Kansas